they ask of me, why am I not free to do as I wish? I have to live under their who will be strong and stand with me beyond the barricade.
Hey guys, so welcome to the first installment of the WTF podcast production. Now, I got this idea from a friend, and he's got a lot of cool videos and podcasts that he's created over the past year, and I thought that maybe I could bring you guys my videos in a different format, and hopefully this works, and hopefully you guys like it. I am your host, Michael Acevedo, or you can just call me PIP. For those of you guys who are wondering what a PIP is, it's either a little piece of chocolate or some dude that dances in in one of those bands. A pip. Okay, but I'm just gonna go with picture-in-picture because my videos have a lot of picture-in-picture, kind of like what you're looking at right now. Picture-in-picture. This is the other picture. Okay, so for those of you guys who are familiar with my page, I like to talk about things that are near and dear to my heart. Primarily the videos that have the most views on my page are the ones where I talk about special effects and how to augment whatever video that you're trying to post on YouTube, whether it be by adding special effects or a cool intro. I have done all the legwork and gotten you these apps, and found them for you. I'm sure that a lot of these apps are pretty easy to find, but I guess you could check out my page and you might find something that you can use. Also, what you'll find on my YouTube page is some poems, because I love to write, and scary stories, because my life seems to be enveloped by all these paranormal instances, and I like to talk about them because around you is this world that just seems to be there, and like a lot of people think that these people are crazy. I don't feel like I'm crazy. A lot of people probably think that I am, but yeah, like I maybe it's just some people, how they say that people are in tuned and some people aren't, you know what I mean? But things happen, and what I want to do with this podcast is bring you guys a topic of conversation, and then read you guys a poem that I've written, and then also maybe tell you guys a scary story, you know what I mean? And along with like bringing you guys a cool app. And hopefully this method works a lot better versus me just posting like I used to, just one video at a time, like maybe 10 minutes long of just one topic. So today I'd like to start by introducing myself. My name is Michael Acevedo, and I am 30 until I'm 40, so that'll be the case until I'm 40. And I am married, remarried, married, divorced, and very happily remarried. And for those of you guys going through a divorce, I am so sorry that divorce happened, but I'm telling you that it was probably for the best if you guys are even considering it. And if you're looking at this video contemplating divorce, then that's probably the best course of action, because I found happiness on a scale that I didn't know existed. Now also in that in-between time, I'd like to talk to you guys about that. For any of you guys who are already divorced and in that in-between time. Now for me personally, that in-between time consisted of no job, going from a combined income of more than $100,000 a year to basically zero, and of maybe peanuts and almonds from the local convenience store that I could afford, from loans by my mother, you know what I mean? And that's how hard it got to go from being so able to sustain yourself and your quote-unquote family to basically not being able to feed yourself. And to a lot of people, maybe that's not a huge struggle. I know people have a lot of other different problems, but at this moment in time, that has been my largest struggle, and a great source of pain for an entire year. To the point where I was literally working out for 8 hours straight in cold, rainy weather. I was outside dragging tires. I was punching trees to the point where I was bleeding from my fists. And it's not that I was punching them barefisted. That would just be stupid. I had boxing gloves on, and I was out there punching the punching bag, and at one point I needed more targets, and you start punching the tree, you know what I mean? And if your hands are wrapped and you have gloves and you still start bleeding from your fist, that's where I was. I was deadlifting, from not being able to deadlift the damn thing to deadlifting 280 pounds and then doing a clean and jerk of 200 pounds. Like, that takes a lot of effort. To be able to do that in less than a year, it speaks to where my mind was at the time. And for those of you who are in that moment right now, I want to tell you that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and to just hang in there, because you will get there. And I was listening to all this hateful music and working out to it, and this is gonna be my life from now on, like, I hate the world kind of thing. And I can just imagine my mother looking at me through the window, because I always knew she was there. I could hear her doing the dishes and stuff, or making dinner. And I was just out there with my headphones on, blasting away at this tree, and this punching bag, and kicking and punching, and just angry at the world, And and this might sound a little cliche, but I found God. I was listening, and this song came on, and I found Jesus that day. And I hit my knees, and literally blood cascading on the inside of my gloves, I'm sure, and sweat all over the place. I have a poem I will probably eventually get to, and I will read it, and I will remind you of my very first podcast when I get there. I started working out to Christian music. I don't know. I'm sure that there's some of you out there who do this, but I mean, working out to Christian music is a different energy. I love the other stuff, like the angry music. I'm not gonna say any names right now, but there's a certain strength that you can derive from a Christian song that you can't get anywhere else. It's a sense of empowerment. It's a sense of it's there, and it's there, and it really helped me, and I hope that this little message to you guys who are in this in between will help you guys. That there is light at the end of the tunnel, and you guys will get there. So as far as my topic of conversation today, I want to talk about a certain issue that seems to well up around me a lot, and I seem to be the reason. And it has to do with the workplace and insubordination. Now, I want you guys to comment any moment that you guys have been, or felt that you guys have been insubordinate. And if you're an employer, I want to hear about your employees who've been insubordinate. If you're an employee, I want to know about the moments that you were insubordinate. Now, I am guilty of this, but I am not guilty of not following the rules. I am not guilty of deliberately being insubordinate because I'm a jerk or I'm an asshole. The moments where I am insubordinate is when the management is wrong and they're trying to get you to say that you're wrong. Now, that's exactly what happened to me yesterday. I tried to get, I'm not going to go into details, but they basically tried to get me to say that I was wrong when I wasn't wrong, and it was somebody else's fault. And I stood my ground, and I applaud you guys who have stood your ground in lieu of getting fired, because you know, that might still happen to me on Monday. See, the thing is, like, I was off yesterday, and I'm getting threatened by my employer on my day off. Do you have any idea what will happen to you if you confront me in public when I'm not your employee at the moment? Like, I'm nobody's bitch, you know what I mean? And I let him know this. Not in so many words, of course. I basically said, you're wrong, and you can't blame me for something I didn't do. One more thing out of your mouth, Michael. And I'm like, all right. Well, that's all I have to say, and hung up. Now, my previous employer, I was a little more direct, and I was kind of being a jerk and an asshole, but at the same time, it was the same situation. It wasn't my fault. And for those of you guys, there's always different angles to view this. You're either wrong or you're not wrong, and you can be the employer and you can always be wrong, you know. And that's a horrible thing, because that just kind of leaves you with your back against the wall. Now, I don't expect that any of my coworkers would ever do something like what I did yesterday, and that's fine too, because not everybody has the balls to go up against an employer when you risk losing your job. But I'm also, like I said, I'm nobody's bitch, and if you come at me and you try to get me to say that I'm wrong when I'm not wrong, that's when you'll find out that you are wrong. Now, at the end of the day, you know, I don't want to lose my job, but if that's what happens, then I stood my ground and I stood up for what was right. So, as today's topic of insubordination, I would like to hear stories of any time that you felt that your superior was wrong and you stood your ground, because I applaud you. And I applaud any employer who has seen through this veil of superiority and been able to commend their employee for standing up for themselves. Okay, guys, so I know this is my first time doing this way, so until I'm able to mix it up a little bit, this is what I'm going to do. So my next topic is my app. Now, I want to talk about the CC Mixter app. Now, a lot of times when you're making YouTube videos, you start to see that, oh my god, like, I need some audio here, or where do I find a song that's not going to get slammed for copyright infringement and stuff, and taken off of in certain countries, primarily Germany, I hear. And so the CC Mixter app has free commercial music that you can use, and you can just throw it into your intros or use it as filler audio and stuff, and it works great. Now, you are going to have to use the Dropbox app, unless you guys can find a different way to bring the songs from the CC Mixter app onto your phone or onto your desktop or whatever. So this is what I'm using. So the CC Mixter app looks like that. It's got that little bicycle on there, and you click on it, and you got all these little different tabs, and basically what they are is different types of music. You got instrumental, extended mix sets, recently updated, ritmos latinos, house and trance, dubstep, mostly down tempo, and the list goes on. And these are the songs that you've already downloaded, because you can download the songs. And then and this is where we want to be, free for commercial use. Now, let's just listen to a few of these things. Make sure that my audio is up. Okay, and let's listen to Drops of H2O for a second. I like this. Let's download it. Download done. Now let's listen to Silence Await. This has a good flavor to it. I like this. let's listen to Art Now. Alright guys, so you kind of get the idea. So if you guys want to download it, just hit the download arrow there, and it should appear in your downloaded music. Let's see here, find it. There we go. Click download, and sorry. So if you click this little thing here, it'll delete it from your thing. So I haven't messed around with this app in a while. Let's see. Okay, so once you go into your Dropbox, so it's C, I added this one, drops of H2O. And there it is, guys. So it's as easy as downloading it and it appearing in your Dropbox, and then you can just the way I do it is I always use either the Splice app or the iMovie app, and they generally have a little search option for your audio, and you can just drag and import into your videos. So check out the CC Mixter app. I hope you guys like this app, and put it to good use. I mean, it's there, and all the audio is there. Sorry you guys are seeing all my personal messages come in and stuff, but yeah. So the next thing I want to do is read my poem to you guys. Now this poem I wrote, can't exactly remember the date that I wrote it, which is a very bad thing that bad poets do, is not write down dates. But it was one day that I was sitting by the window, and I was writing, and I was just, you know, in awe of how the day just changes. It was one of those special days where it just seems like the sky went from, you know, this calm to this angry to this settled, you know, mode. And I call this poem The Sky in a Day. Shapeless but with form, the sky produces globs of white, gray, and fiery streaked juices. In angered waltz, their darker half so induces. They swim across the sky in opposite directions, depriving the land of their honey's inflections. They scream across the sky, rolling over the land, breaking and striking the earth as they thunder past. Beautiful and threatening, one must hide to avoid a lashing. From cold to warm the air will change, and through this darkness the tamer will appear. Thin golden streaks will pierce the sky, and an arc of color will descend, marking the beginning and the end. Now, I always like to write about my surroundings and things that are going on about me, so a lot of my poems, you'll find that they generally have to do with a lot of nature, and I've kind of gotten away from writing about, you know, the basic, you know, the love thing that everybody always writing about. I do have some strong poems that are about love, but I've kind of moved away from that and started writing about more spiritual things, and also darker things, because a person who becomes more spiritual or sees spirituality also is able to see the darker side of things. And I have found that the dichotomy of good and evil is present in my writing, because I'm able to express the sense of God through my poems, and then able to also express the evil that's around me in my paranormal stories, because a lot of these things are actually happening and I'm able to see it. I think they called it the discernment of spirit, but I'm not exactly sure. But so yeah, so that was my poem, and I would like to take you guys into my Facebook page. Within Facebook, you're able to create these pages, and one of my pages is called Alien Abduction Stories and Paranormal Events. Now, I would love it if you guys were to go become members and go subscribe and join my page and read some of the stories that people have posted on here. And that is my wife liking my Instagram picture. Isn't that great? And she knows that that's on there. I wonder if she knows that. I mean, if that's the reason why she's doing it. Talking about you, baby. Okay. So what I do here is people send me stories. They message me and I paste them on my wall so that people could see them. A lot of these stories come in anonymous and they don't want to know who's actually the person that this happened to, but this is one of mine. Now I live in McAllen, Texas, and that's no surprise because I have said that before. So let's go about this. Okay, so this happened in McAllen. My son has this fear of staying at my grandmother's house, and one night I found out why. My grandmother's home has always been riddled with paranormal instances and wisps of what the fuck. But for some reason I never expected my son to experience them as well. One night, as I was struggling to get him to go to sleep, so I turned off his TV. He sat there and wept for a few minutes until he finally fell asleep. I stayed up for a little while longer, but then slowly drifted as well. The room was dark, illuminated only by 2 small blue LEDs off to a corner. I felt my son suddenly shift, so I placed my arm on him and said, "It's okay, shh." I then heard him trying to say something, but his words seemed staggered. I opened my eyes to look at him, and he was awake. Clearly visible were the 2 LEDs in his eyes. So I told him to go to sleep, but he wouldn't respond. So I followed his eyes, and my attention was drawn to the center of the room. Not a shadow on a wall, but literally something blacker than the darkest room, standing there. I instinctively pulled my son closer and watched this thing as I slowly reached for the iPad to try and shine some light on it. I noticed its movements. His head followed my hand. My son noticed this as well and stiffened his grip. He held onto me like petrified wood. I said, "Leave. Why are you here? Leave us alone." My son at this point was starting to cry, so I said, "You don't belong here. Go back." I then clutched my cross and started to say a Hail Mary. 3 words in and it disappeared, just gone. Blue light now visible on the wall behind where the thing stood. Needless to say, my son still hates staying there. Now, this actually happened to me, guys, and I wrote about it. Now, I've gotten to the point where the second something happens, I write about it. And my phone is usually nearby, so what I end up doing is I just end up opening my Blogger, and I start writing. I just, new post. I click new post, and I just title it and start writing because it just happened, and I want the events to be fresh in my mind when I start writing. Like, a lot of these things have happened to me, and if you guys go follow my Blogger post, if you go onto my YouTube page, and the little icons that you have on the bottom of your cover art, click on my Blogger and read some of those stories. I will be featuring one of them at least once a week. So yeah, so that happened. It was quite a moment in my life, and my sons too. I mean, I don't know how to explain this, guys. Like, I'm not crazy. Now, why is it that some people see shadow people? I mean, something is going on around us, And those of you who aren't in tune to it, I envy y'all, because I mean, what would your life be like if you start seeing things that for the most part aren't really there? Well, I mean, it's the common idea is that either someone's crazy, or the person seeing these things are crazy, or they're not happening, or they're seeing things or misinterpreting things. Like, how can you tell me that I'm not seeing something standing in the middle of the room that's not supposed to be there, and having my son as a corroborating witness? You know what I mean? This thing was there. And the second I clutched my cross and started saying a Hail Mary, it disappeared. Now, I guess you could call me crazy, but I'm not. These things happen to people, and I'm not, like I'm saying, like, this is happening to a lot of people. And people seem to undermine those numbers, but it's in the millions. Millions of people see these things, and we're in the minority, obviously. But you just need to be aware that these things happen, and people aren't crazy, you know what I mean? You just might be the crazy one because you can't see it, and it's there. Think about it that way. What if the majority of people, and I have a gut feeling that a lot of people are actually seeing things and aren't reporting them, or aren't saying anything about it. And I would also like for you guys to tell me about any shadow people that you guys have seen, or anything, you know, that moment that you see something like go across the, you know, in your peripheral vision, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. That's crazy because something's actually there, you know what I mean? And I know there's all this scientific, you know, I spend my time listening to these kinds of things, and I'm sure that the whole peripheral, something in your peripheral vision, there's a scientific way of debunking it, but I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced, because there's times that you see something in your peripheral vision, and then it actually, whatever it was, actually manifests in a way where it moves something in your physical world. That's happened to me too, and I can't wait to get to those stories. So I hope you guys enjoyed the first installment of my new type of video podcast. I recommend you guys, you know, take it up. I think it's awesome. I bought this mic setup, and it was, you know, all for less than $50. So you guys, I hope you join me again next week, and I hope I have enough time to do this. I might start doing some of these from the road, from my drive cam. So so peace out. A lot of love to you guys, and I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. And that's it, guys. Peace out.